Some places in Tennessee don't just hold history, they hold the souls of those who never left. Hallways whisper with memories, shadows linger where time once stood still, and voices from the past rise softly, calling names you may never know, yet somehow feel connected to. Tonight, we enter a world where the past refuses to rest, a world where music, memory, and restless spirits collide. Our first stop, Loretta Lynn's ranch. Before we step inside, make sure to hit like, share this video with friends, and subscribe so you don't miss any chilling stories. Also, comment below the city or town you're watching from. I'd love to see where all of you are tuning in. Now back to the story. Chapter 1. Loretta Lynn's Ranch. Whispers in Hurricane Mills. Nestled in the rolling hills of Hurricane Mills, Tennessee, Loretta Lynn's ranch is far more than a landmark of country music. It is a place where history lingers and the past refuses to stay buried. When Loretta first moved into her grand plantation-style home in the 1960s, she expected serenity, a refuge from the world of touring and fame. Instead, she discovered she was sharing her home with invisible guests. Footsteps echoed through empty hallways, doors swung open or shut with no breeze. Cold drafts slipped through rooms with every window tightly closed. Loretta's children spoke of shadowy figures moving silently along the walls, figures that vanished when anyone else turned to look. Some believed the land itself was haunted, the soil holding echoes of Civil War-era sorrow and unrest. Yet through it all, Loretta never felt threatened. She spoke of the spirits not with fear, but with understanding, describing them as lost souls, trapped between worlds. "They're not evil," she explained in an interview. "They're just lost. They don't mean harm. They're part of the house's memory." Rather than try to banish them, she allowed the presence of the spirits to coexist with the warmth of family life. Music flowed through the rooms, laughter echoed along the halls, and the rhythms of daily life continued unabated. Guests who visited the ranch often left with their own tales, doors slamming without explanation, sudden chills in warm rooms, or glimpses of figures standing silently in corners, watching without a sound. One of Loretta's daughters recounted seeing a woman dressed in old-fashioned clothing, standing quietly in a bedroom with tears streaming down her face. Within moments, the apparition vanished. Even these encounters never stirred fear in Loretta. She believed that her home, filled with music, love, and light, drew spirits seeking comfort rather than conflict. Today, Loretta Lynn's ranch operates as a museum and event venue, a destination for fans from around the world. Visitors come to honor the legacy of a country music icon, but many leave with more than just stories of Loretta's music. They depart with a chill running down their spine, a feeling of being watched, a sense that the past still walks among the living. The ranch is alive with memory, laughter, music, and the quiet, unseen presence of those who refuse to fade. In every creaking floorboard, every whispering wind through the trees, the history of the land and its restless inhabitants remains palpable, waiting for anyone willing to notice. Chapter 2. The Ryman Auditorium, where the music never dies. The Ryman Auditorium, proudly known as the Mother Church of Country Music, has been a cornerstone of Nashville since 1892. Its walls have witnessed the rise of legends, the shaping of careers, and countless unforgettable performances. By day, it is a marvel of architecture and history. By night, however, the auditorium is said to take on a life of its own, a place where the echoes of the past refuse to fade. Security guards and late-night staff often speak of strange occurrences. Footsteps sometimes echo across the empty stage, heavy and deliberate, yet no one is there. Shadowy figures have been glimpsed in the balcony, seated quietly as if waiting for a performance that never ends. Faint music drifts through the halls, notes of old country tunes, heard when no instrument is playing, lingering like a memory of a bygone era. Some believe that Thomas Ryman, the visionary founder who brought this grand hall to life, remains among the shadows, watching over the space he loved. Others say the restless spirit of Hank Williams Sr., forever tied to the stage from which he was once banned, still roams the corridors, drawn back by the songs that defined him. Performers often sense an energy unlike anywhere else, an invisible audience that watches from the darkness, sometimes leaning close enough to feel like a presence just behind them, guiding or observing. Visitors describe an atmosphere thick with history, a hum that seems to pulse through the floorboards and walls. Even when the lights are dimmed and the auditorium sits in silence, the Ryman vibrates with memory. Each creak of the stage, each gust of wind through an open window carries with it a sense of lives lived, songs sung, and stories told. It is as if the building itself refuses to sleep, keeping watch over the music and the musicians who have passed through its doors. Here at the Ryman, music does not simply end, it waits. It lingers in the shadows, in the corners of the balcony, in the very air of the auditorium. Every visitor who steps inside may feel it, the hum of forgotten applause, the quiet presence of those who once performed, and the undeniable sensation that some spirits never truly leave. The Ryman is more than a stage. It is a living memory, where the past and present intertwine, and where the music never dies. Chapter 3. The Orpheum Theater. The Ghost in Seat C5. In the heart of Memphis stands the Orpheum Theater, a shining gem of historic architecture and a cornerstone of the city's performing arts. The grandeur of its sweeping balconies, ornate ceilings, and velvet curtains draws thousands of visitors each year. Yet, behind the beauty and applause, the theater is said to host a very special guest, one who never misses a performance, no matter the century, a young girl named Mary. Mary's story begins in the early 1900s. Legend holds that she tragically died after being struck by a streetcar near the theater, her life cut short long before it could fully unfold. Since that day, her spirit has remained, bound to the place she loved most. Those who work or visit the Orpheum often speak of fleeting glimpses of a small figure sitting quietly in seat C5. She wears a white dress, her hair neatly tied, and a gentle, almost shy smile graces her face. Some say she seems to watch the performances with a quiet intensity, as if making sure every note, every step, and every laugh reaches perfection. Mary is not a frightening presence. On the contrary, she is often described as playful and protective. Audience members report hearing soft giggles during funny scenes or feeling a gentle tug at their sleeves backstage, as though urging the performers to continue. Lights may flicker inexplicably, footsteps echo in empty aisles, and a faint rustle can be heard where no one is walking. Many claim that spotting Mary before a show brings good luck, while others believe her devotion simply reflects her love for the theater, too strong to let her leave. The atmosphere in the Orpheum feels different when Mary is near. There is a quiet energy in the air, a sense that the past and present intertwine. Even when the stage is dark and the last audience has departed, she lingers, a silent guardian of the performances that unfold on the board she adored. Actors and crew sometimes sense her presence, an almost imperceptible warmth, a glance from the shadows, or the softest sigh that carries through the empty halls. For those who believe in the supernatural, the Orpheum Theater is more than a historic venue. It is a meeting place for the living and the departed, a testament to the love of performance that transcends life itself. Mary remains in seat C5, waiting patiently, watching intently, and reminding everyone that passion, once kindled, never truly fades. Even in darkness, even when the curtains close, she remains, forever a part of the theater she cherished. Chapter 4. Tennessee State Prison, The Forgotten Inmates. Just beyond the outskirts of Nashville lies the imposing Tennessee State Prison, a grim monument to decades of pain, confinement, and lost lives. Its towering walls, weathered by time, seem to hold more than brick and mortar. They carry the weight of countless souls who once walked its corridors. Though the prison officially closed in 1992, many believe that its former inhabitants never truly left, their presence lingering in the shadows of the abandoned structure. Visitors describe a chilling sense of unease from the moment they approach. Doors slam without wind, heavy chains rattle in empty halls, and footsteps echo across corridors where no living soul treads. Cold spots appear unexpectedly, a sharp chill that cuts through even the warmest day. Shadows flicker along the walls, vanishing when one tries to focus on them, leaving behind a sensation that someone, or something, is always just beyond sight. The most notorious section is the Old Death Row, a corridor where inmates awaited their final moments. Many who have ventured here claim to feel the weight of despair pressing down, as if the very walls remember each last breath, each whispered apology, each desperate plea. Lights flare and die without cause. Soft murmurs seem to drift from empty cells. Some visitors swear they felt the brush of unseen hands along their arms, fleeting but unmistakable. Film crews, ghost hunters, and thrill-seekers who explore the site often leave rattled, describing encounters that cannot be explained. Footsteps following them down hallways, doors opening behind their backs, and distant cries that fade before reaching comprehension all contribute to the prison's reputation. The energy within the facility is dense, almost tangible, as if time itself has slowed to accommodate the lingering spirits of those trapped within. Even from the outside, the prison exudes a forbidding aura. Its shadowed towers and rusting gates hint at the anguish contained inside, whispering stories of confinement, suffering, and unfinished business. Tennessee State Prison is not merely a relic of the past. It is a living memory of pain, a place where echoes of sorrow persist, and the forgotten inmates continue their restless vigil, forever bound to the halls that held them. Chapter 5. Shiloh Battlefield, Echoes of a War. Unfinished Shiloh National Military Park, nestled in the rolling hills of Tennessee, marks the site of one of the Civil War's most devastating battles. Over just 2 days in April 1862, more than 23,000 soldiers were killed, wounded, or went missing, leaving scars that time could never fully erase. Today the land seems quiet and serene, dotted with monuments and walking trails, but many who wander here report a different reality, one that whispers of sorrow and loss. As morning mist drifts over the fields, visitors sometimes hear faint, distant echoes of gunfire, muffled cries, and the rhythmic beat of drums that seem to come from nowhere. Figures in period uniforms have been spotted moving silently among the trees, pausing to glance at the living before dissolving into the fog. The air feels heavier near Bloody Pond, where wounded soldiers once crawled for water, their blood staining the soil. Some claim to feel an unseen hand brush their shoulder or hear soft whispers calling their names, as though the fallen are still reaching out. Park rangers and visitors alike have shared stories of fleeting shadows, the creak of invisible boots, or a sudden chill that cuts through even the warmest days. The landscape itself seems haunted by memory, refusing to let the tragedies of the past fade into silence. Every cannon marker, every memorial plaque is surrounded by an energy that feels alive, as if the earth remembers each cry, each life lost on its soil. Walking through Shiloh after dark is an experience that many describe as both awe-inspiring and unnerving. The spirits of the dead are not aggressive. They linger like echoes, caught between the past and the present, silently witnessing the living who wander where they once fought and fell. The battlefield is a place where history is not only seen but felt, a solemn reminder that some stories cannot be buried with time. For those who visit, the experience lingers long after they leave. The land at Shiloh holds memories that are impossible to forget, a haunting testament to the price of war and the lives it claimed. Here, the past is never truly gone. It walks beside you, whispers in the wind, and waits patiently for those who dare to listen. Chapter 6. Stones River Battlefield, Spirits of the Fallen. The Battle of Stones River, fought in late December 1862 and early January 1863, claimed more than 23,000 lives, leaving scars that time has never fully healed. Today, the battlefield appears calm and serene, with rolling fields and quiet forests. But those who linger after sunset often report a far different experience. Visitors describe an unnatural stillness, as though the very air is holding its breath, waiting for something unseen to emerge. On dark nights, ghostly lights have been spotted drifting through the trees, flickering like lanterns carried by soldiers long gone. Soft murmurs, whispers, or the distant crackle of musket fire sometimes echo across the fields, only to vanish the moment one turns to investigate. The atmosphere is heavy, laden with the weight of countless lives lost in a battle that raged with relentless fury. The most haunted section, known as Hell's Half Acre, was the scene of the fiercest combat. Visitors report seeing figures in tattered Civil War uniforms standing silently among the trees, pausing to nod or glance toward the living before fading into the shadows. Some have felt icy gusts sweep across their faces even on warm, sunny days, a chilling reminder that the past refuses to rest. Stories abound of the land itself seeming aware of the living, responding with sudden cold spots, shifting mists, or the faintest footsteps where none should be. Many who wander the battlefield leave with a prickling sense that they were never truly alone, a lingering impression that the fallen still walk among the living, silently watching over the ground where they fought and died. Stones River is more than a historical site. It is a haunting memorial where the spirits of the fallen are as present as the monuments that mark the land. The past, thick with sorrow and sacrifice, continues to whisper through the trees, reminding all who visit that history here is not just remembered, it is felt. Chapter 7. Carnton Plantation, the House That Never Slept. Carnton Plantation, a grand estate in Franklin, Tennessee, bears the weight of a tragic past. During the Battle of Franklin on November 30th, 1864, it was transformed into a field hospital, where the wounded were brought through its doors and tended as best as possible. Thousands of soldiers, their bodies broken and lives slipping away, died within its walls, leaving behind an energy that some say never faded. Even today, the floors seem to whisper the memories of those final desperate hours. Outside, the McGavick Confederate Cemetery stretches across the grounds, the resting place of over 2,400 soldiers. Visitors often describe an eerie stillness, the kind that feels almost sacred but carries a weight of sorrow. Some claim to see shadowy forms moving between the graves at twilight, kneeling figures silently mourning those they once fought beside, or glimpses of soldiers walking as if on patrol. Inside the house, the air is heavy and still, almost as if the building itself holds its breath, reluctant to let go of the past. Doors creak open by themselves, footsteps echo in empty corridors, and faint whispers weave through the hallways. Guests and staff alike have reported fleeting glimpses of transparent figures, watching quietly from darkened corners or pausing near windows before vanishing. The plantation exudes a palpable energy, a blend of sorrow, respect, and unfinished business. It is not malevolent, but it is insistent, a constant reminder that the lives lost within its walls and upon its grounds continue to linger. Carnton Plantation is more than a museum. It is a living memorial, a place where the past refuses to rest and where the stories of the fallen remain etched into every shadow, every creak, and every hush of the night. Chapter 8. The Bell Witch Cave, Tennessee's darkest legend. Nestled in the woods of Adams, Tennessee, the Bell Witch Cave is tied to one of the most infamous and chilling hauntings in American history. In the early 1800s, the Bell family found themselves tormented by a mysterious and unseen entity. What began as simple knocks on the walls soon escalated to unexplainable voices, scratches, and even physical attacks, leaving the family terrified and desperate for answers. The spirit claimed the name Kate Batts, a neighbor who had once quarreled with John Bell, the patriarch of the household. Whether truth or folklore, the events took a sinister turn when John Bell fell gravely ill and eventually died under circumstances the entity claimed responsibility for. Betsy Bell, John's daughter, was particularly tormented, reporting pinches, slaps, and whispers in the darkness that seemed to follow her from room to room. Today, the cave itself remains a haunting focal point, drawing visitors who feel the lingering energy of the past. People report sudden cold spots, whispers echoing through the tunnels, and the sensation of invisible hands brushing against them. Some claim to hear their own names called in faint, eerie tones, while others glimpse shadowy figures moving just beyond the reach of light. The air inside the cave feels heavy, almost alive, as if the space itself remembers the terror that once unfolded there. Whether legend, superstition, or something more sinister, the Bell Witch remains a perpetual mystery, a presence that refuses to fade from history. The cave stands as a chilling reminder of the past's grip on the present, a place where fear, folklore, and the unknown intertwine. Visitors leave with more than just stories. They leave with a sense that some spirits never truly rest, and some tales are too dark to be forgotten. Chapter 9. Wheatlands Plantation, where spirits still walk. Nestled in the quiet, rolling hills of Tennessee, Wheatlands Plantation has borne witness to centuries of turmoil and sorrow. From the struggles of Native American conflicts to the deep scars left by the Civil War, this land has endured tragedies that time has not fully erased. Though the fields and gardens now appear serene, The whispers of history cling stubbornly to the soil, and some say the past is never truly gone. Visitors often report fleeting shadows among the trees, or mysterious shapes moving along the plantation's long, empty halls. Cold drafts creep through rooms with no open windows, carrying the faint echo of voices that seem to come from nowhere. The family cemetery and scattered unmarked graves, believed to belong to enslaved individuals, soldiers, and others whose stories were forgotten, stand as solemn markers of lives that still linger. Some guests leave small offerings, a flower, a whispered prayer, or a token of respect, hoping to honor the spirits said to roam beneath the towering oaks and pines. Others, overcome by the heavy sense of being watched, retreat quickly, hearts pounding and senses alert to every unexplained sound or movement. Each creaking floorboard, every rustle of leaves, feels charged with memory, as if the land itself remembers every life, every sorrow, and every struggle that has passed through it. Even under the bright light of day, Wheatlands exudes an energy that is difficult to ignore. The air seems heavier in certain corners, as though unseen eyes are watching. Guests often describe a feeling of being accompanied, not by the living, but by the echoes of those who walked these grounds long ago. Some swear they have glimpsed figures standing silently near the smokehouse or moving past the windows only to vanish when approached. Wheatlands is more than a historical landmark. It is a living testament to the weight of the past. The plantation holds stories that were never written in books, memories that refuse to fade, and spirits that continue to wander, invisible yet undeniable. For those willing to linger, the land tells its own tale, a story of lives lost, of sorrow endured, and of the haunting presence of history that refuses to be forgotten. Chapter 10. Sensabaugh Tunnel. The breath beneath the hill. Carved deep into the hills of Kingsport, Tennessee, Sensabaugh Tunnel is more than a simple passageway. It is a place that seems to breathe, as though the hill itself holds its secrets close. Built in the early 1900s, the tunnel's long, narrow walls have witnessed decades of travelers, accidents, and stories, some so dark they seem impossible to leave behind. Those who venture inside often speak of phenomena that defy explanation. Disembodied cries echo from the shadows, accompanied by whispers that seem to rise from the very stone. Footsteps fall behind visitors, quick and deliberate. Yet when they turn, there is no one there. Drivers passing through report engines stalling for no reason, headlights flickering violently, and shadows stretching across walls in impossible shapes. The deeper one walks, the heavier the air grows, thick with tension, as if the tunnel itself is alive, watching and waiting. Curiosity draws many into Sensabaugh Tunnel. Some come seeking the thrill of the unknown, eager to test their courage against its chilling reputation. Others arrive with trepidation, hearts pounding as they feel the unseen eyes that seem to follow every movement. Yet no one leaves untouched. Those who emerge often speak of an oppressive unease that lingers for days, of cold touches brushing their skin, or of fleeting impressions of memories that are not their own, embedded somehow into the tunnel's walls. Locals tell stories of visitors who claimed the tunnel whispered their names or reflected fleeting visions in the shadows, glimpses of people or events long gone. Others describe the sensation of the air itself tightening around them, constricting their chest, making every breath feel heavy and deliberate, as if the earth itself remembers what has passed through. Sensabaugh Tunnel exists at the boundary between the natural and the supernatural. It is a corridor of history and memory, a place where whispers of the past refuse to fade. The tunnel does not merely carry travelers from one side of a hill to the other. It carries stories, secrets, and spirits. To enter is to confront a quiet, persistent presence that observes without eyes, remembers without thought, and leaves a mark that lingers long after the living have departed. Few return from Sensaba unchanged, and those who do carry with them a sense that something ancient and restless still breathes beneath the hill. A reminder that some places hold on to the echoes of the past, and some memories refuse to be silent. Chapter 11. The Gaylord Opryland, Abigail's Endless Wait. By day, the Gaylord Opryland Resort feels like a world of glass and light, lush gardens, flowing water, and towering atriums filled with laughter and movement. But when night falls and the halls grow quiet, the mood shifts. That's when some say Abigail begins to wander. According to legend, she was a young woman who waited endlessly for the return of the man she loved. Days turned into weeks, weeks into years, and when he never came back, her heart gave out, leaving her spirit bound to the place where she last hoped to see him again. Guests tell of a woman in white drifting silently through corridors, her presence felt more than seen. Reflections shift in glass walls. Elevators pause on empty floors. Soft crying echoes through the vast interior, disappearing as suddenly as it begins. Some visitors wake in the middle of the night with the unmistakable feeling that someone is standing beside their bed. Others report doors opening on their own, or a faint perfume lingering in the air long after no one has passed. Hotel staff speak quietly about certain areas after dark, places where the air feels heavier, where footsteps sound just a little too close behind you. Nothing violent, nothing threatening, just sadness that never found its ending. In a place built for comfort and beauty, Abigail continues her search, wandering the halls, waiting for footsteps that never arrive. Chapter 12. The Reed House Hotel, Room 311. Room 311 of the Reed House Hotel carries a reputation few guests are brave enough to challenge. Tucked behind elegant hallways and polished doors, the room appears ordinary at first glance. But those who stay the night often sense something is wrong the moment they step inside, an unease that settles quietly, like someone else already occupying the space. In the 1920s, a woman named Anaiza Netherly died in this very room under circumstances that were never fully explained. Official records are vague, details are missing. And over time, the truth faded into rumor and whisper. What remains are the stories. Guests have reported lights turning on and off without warning. Some describe sudden drops in temperature, even in the heat of summer. Others speak of soft murmurs, voices too faint to understand, yet close enough to feel personal. A few claim they've felt someone standing beside the bed, only to find the room empty when they look. Hotel staff rarely linger near room 311. Some refuse to enter it alone. Others say the atmosphere changes the moment you cross the threshold, as if the room itself is aware of your presence. Nothing violent has ever been reported. No dramatic apparitions. Just a constant, unsettling feeling that someone is still there, watching, waiting, unable to move on. And when guests check out the next morning, many say the same thing. They didn't sleep. Because in room 311, the past doesn't rest. Across Tennessee, the past is never far away. In quiet forests, abandoned buildings, and rolling fields, history lingers in shadows and whispers, waiting for those willing to listen. These places are more than landmarks. They are vessels of memory, carrying the joys, sorrows, and unfinished stories of the people who once walked these lands. Some visitors feel it as a chill in the air, a fleeting shadow, or a whisper that cannot be explained. Others sense it more quietly, in the weight of the atmosphere, in the way the wind moves through empty halls, or in the echoes of footsteps long gone. Here, the line between the living and the departed seems thinner, and for a moment, the stories of the past step back into the present. Whether you believe in ghosts or dismiss them as mere legend, one truth remains undeniable: history never truly fades. It waits patiently in the corners, in the cracks of the earth, and in the hearts of those who remember. The past does not die. It only waits to be seen, heard, and honored. And in Tennessee, it is always waiting. If you enjoyed exploring Tennessee's haunted history with me, don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends who love a good ghost story. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below about which place gave you the chills the most. And if you want to uncover more legends and haunted tales, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss a story. Thank you for watching.